Hello, friends, neighbors, and of course the YouTube comment section. Are you guys ready for an unsolicited Ask a Case Guy? It is Friday night at 6 p.m. and Ben and I are building a unique thing that we are moonlighting for a friend of ours who is the production manager for a vocal group that was popular in the late 90s that is popular once again. And they have a set piece that is going into not a circular shape, not a rhombus shape, not a trapezoid shaped venue, but a uniquely shaped venue that has to float. And Ben and I are building the power supply for said item. So I figured, why not bring the YouTube comment section along into LM on a Friday night? Because this is a project, so currently LM has like a 14-week lead time. And sometimes if you're nice to me or you're a friend for a long time, we'll moonlight stuff through for you. And this is one of those projects. So check this thing out. This is a weird little cassette that we're building. On the left-hand side here goes a interesting panel, a power panel that is designed for your house that has outputs so that you can charge batteries. It's basically a power panel, or should we say, for all the electricians out there, a load center. And then this side is a 20-space rack that will house a variety of different panels. I think Ben and I have about 6 U worth of power panels that are going to go in there. There is the infamous and super popular in the zeitgeist of LM right now, the 50 amp Caddy connector. Everybody seems to want that. And then there's just there's some Socos, there's some true ones, there's all kinds of stuff. But I figured, can't really, it's a little bit too homebrew to put on LM's page, but it is also kind of cool. So I figured I would show you the process. So this particular box has some flanges up here. So basically, this is going to turn like that and slide into a little track system. So we're calling it a cassette. These are handles. So there'll be a handle like this, and then there'll be handles like this. So you can move this thing around. This is the back of the rack section. So Ben and I are just tag teaming, bondoing this thing. So, I mean, it looks a little not so fun or not so nice at the time, but we'll sand it down. It'll look good. This is built out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch. And the way that we design stuff here at LM is we try to use tabs and slots whenever possible. So interestingly enough, this whole thing went together without a tape measure. So you're looking at our hardware department. This is where handles and latches and stuff get installed. This big table is what we call our initiation table. This is where cases go together. And if you've noticed the Spirit of the Bear live from LM, check the upper right-hand corner of your screen for that video. This is where we had Jamie's drum set, so it doubles. So this is a tab and slot. So when it comes from the CNC machine, it has these holes drilled in here as pilot holes. So you can basically just interlock everything, and it makes it straight just from engineering. Baltic birch is really good stuff. You can see how many plies this particular this thickness has. This is 3/4 inch. So what you're looking at here is this is a cable pass through from the load center. These are holes from the rack rail that's already drilled in there, and then this thing is just nicely slotted in. So Ben and I are bondoing this thing as quickly as we can, so that it can dry, so we can run into our integration shop, which is what you guys are used to normally seeing, and start building all the power stuff, which is really hard to. We got some cool homebrew stuff that I feel like you guys are going to really appreciate. So anyway, back to bondoing. All right, we're sanded. We're bondoed. So smooth. Ooh, nice. So we did everything down to, or up to 400. And it is oh so smooth. So even when you see these little holes like this, Ben and I were just joking. We're just like, so collectively, we have about 5 hours in this. So Ben and I have been tag teaming this together for 5 hours. And John from our engineering department was there for an hour before Ben. So about 10 hours of shop time is in this so far to get us to the point where we can paint it. So in case you guys are wondering why speakers are so expensive, this is why. So we've been sanding it, we're ready to go, and now we're gonna paint. Well, here we go. Texture coating. It's about 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. I've got 3 coats of texture on here. And like most things, in the lighting of this particular booth, this looks absolutely perfect, but I'm sure as soon as we take it outside, there will be glaring spots that we missed. And even interestingly enough, on camera, there looks like there are spots that we missed, but it's not actually true. Like, that is just a weird glare. So anyway, here is the wet final coat of texture, of which I thought, but I'm gonna actually ask the paint boys and hardware boys to finish this up for me on Monday morning, so hopefully by the time that I arrive at the shop at the crack of 10, it will be ready and Ben and I can start wiring. Check it out. Here's our finished product. So I think this thing came out pretty cool. So again, I don't know if I explained this when we were doing it earlier. The way that this works is this particular piece was gonna slide in on a rail, and it's going in some type of boat. So that's why there's this extended top flange. There's a little piece of plastic that's gonna go underneath this just to make it not so easily rubbed upon. But this is where the breaker box is going to live, and then this is a 20U rack section that Ben and I will be populating shortly. But that's what this thing looks like. It's pretty cool. Unique. Took forever to build, but pretty cool. Ben, what are you up to?
I'm sorting wires on the socket connector.
So because of the speed in which we needed to build this, we didn't have enough Soco in stock, and our normal Soco supplier was at Infocom and there wasn't anybody at their shop to cut us off or ship us a roll. So this is what we're up to in a temporary situation, which Ben is shaking his head and is mad at me for filming, but hey man, the show must go on. When you're under a deadline, you make it work. So this is just wire that we had in stock. And again, don't judge the integration room for being messy. We do stuff here. This is not a photo studio. Well, check it out. We're in the assembly phase. So, because, like I mentioned before, all of our vendors are at NAMM this week, and nobody has the ability to either sell us a whole roll of 19 conductor Soco or cut us off a piece. This is what we made, and more specifically, what Ben made, which is actually, like, pretty good. I think it looks like the good kind that you buy at the store. So here's our layout. This is our Caddy connector that will be powering this thing. And we also have an L620, which is 2 hots and a ground. The electrical panel goes in here, and I am currently punching holes in the side. Interestingly enough, generally all of our metalworking stuff that we do here is done on the CNC, and then the process is to get it anodized and laser etched, and we just didn't have the time to go through that process. So this is actually a 2U blank panel that we have in stock that I had to manually punch these 2 holes in so that I could keep it in a black anodized panel, which is not very fun, I can tell you that. So I ended up buying these Amazon. So I had to buy a 2 1/4 Greenlee hole punch for the Caddy connector, which is like $130 for that. But I also needed just a 2-inch for the L630, which I found a kit on Amazon for like $63. Hilariously enough, all of the measurement increments are off by like a 1/2 inch. So although it says 2-inch, it's really like a 2 1/2 or like 2 5/8 hole punch. So that was great to make that work because that's the only rack panel that we have. So there's some washers behind that. This one, and so this is, I think this is what? This is the 1 inch, 1.5 inch hole punch. And I think this is an 1.3 3/4 or a 2-inch hole, which is kind of hilarious. So we're allowed to punch the panel here and here. So we have an 1.5 inch cord grip that's going in the side of this thing to go in there. So it is very, very tight. I mean, most of the people that will be using this would probably go on the top like a normal panel, but we don't have that kind of room. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to punching holes. Well, we have got the panel mounted. We have our cord grips that are on the inside, which proved to be tighter to mount than one would have anticipated. Ooh, and here's my first of many opportunities to troll the comment section. Look, the grippy parts on the inside, because we have to, because I can't put them in there any other way. And you might say these are crooked, but that's the only way we can get them in here. So, interesting panel. The Smart Home Tube thing, EcoFlow. The EcoFlow Home Tube Smart Panel. This is the point in the evening where I've lost my mind. I've already been loudly singing the Doobie Brothers to myself because only a fool believes that they can get this thing done in any type of deadline. Anyway, so we're using 6/4 cable, 6 gauge, or 4 conductor cable in the SOOW flavor. Something that we keep in stock because for whatever reason, Caddy connectors are very popular these days. I don't get it, but hey, who am I to judge? Anyway, this is an interesting panel. So, you know, you have your neutral bus, your ground bus, and this is going to be a dual pole 50 amp breaker. Do you hear that comment section? 6 gauge wires, not thick enough. And that's okay, because it's only a 50 amp main breaker. So I basically cut this down and put a little piece of heat shrink, which I'm sure the electricians in the comment section will tell me you're not supposed to do. Oh, and it's copper too, so no locks on the main lugs. So anyway, I'm gonna get this wired in and check back in. So we're wiring in the mains, and I just want to let all of my European electrical brethren and lady brethren know that we are using ferrules in the main breaker. Special ordered 6 gauge ferrules.
6. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 gauges. All of the gauges. God, how nice and neat this is gonna look. We don't even have the neutral and the ground in. Oh.
It'll work. It'll work.
Go ahead, comment section. Do your thing. Ben, how many Fig Newton meters of force are you using?
The blackberry flavored ones.
They have blackberry Newtons?
I think so.
I'm just a fan of the strawberry ones. Although when I was a kid, I called them strawberry Fig Newtons.
I also didn't know that they had strawberry ones.
Dude, the strawberry ones are good. What did you say there was? Raspberry?
I said blackberry, but I actually don't know if those are real.
Dudes, if anybody asks, we totally meant to do this like this because it is perfect. Well, 11 o'clock.
Oh my God.
On what is it, Monday?
Yep, Monday.
And here's how far we are. We've got breakers in. It took me way too long to wire in this L620. That's right, L620. Didn't see that one coming. And the infamous Caddy connector, which Ben continues to tell me is great. And the internet tells me is great.
I didn't say it was great. I said it was convenient.
Because L2130 be damned. We need 2 legs of 50 amps, thus requiring 6 gauge cable for everything. But Billy, you can run it as split phase, and you can tie in with the Caddy connector. I don't know. Jury's out. I'm just being a hater. I'm tired. But anyway, there it is. There's the main power in. So Ben's whip is looking good. I find it hilarious that we're sweating in the shop and not in the air-conditioned comfort of integration with the internet, but this is just too big. But it's looking nice, though. Here's our homemade Soco cable, which is actually looking quite nice.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. Look at this. Look at our fake electrician-ness. Gotta give Benny Boy credit. He wires a mean panel. Here's our fake Soco cables with our little distros. We're gonna turn the panel, or we're going to put the panel on right now. And then moment of truth. So we already, I can't give you guys lies because you know you come to the Billy YouTube universe for the ministry of truth, but we turned it on and everything worked. There are some very satisfying relays that click in this panel once you provide energy. So really what Ben and I need to do is just kind of go through everything and test it, but we're going to do that in a safe way by putting the front panel on before we test it. So we'll give you another update as soon as we have everything relatively together. All right, so here's the finished product. Look at this. Again, there are certain things on this particular project that if I had more than 1 week from notebook sketch to completion to figure it out, I could have done better. Like as an example, this panel, this is just a blank 2U panel that we had in stock. And we just cut these holes in, which hilariously enough, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, our Amazon hole punches are not the right size. So it's the only thing. And if I had more than one of these rack panels in stock, because no one wants our like $30 blank 2U panels, I could have recut and made it nice, but the timeline being what it is. This is our standard Soco to 12 true 1 outlet. So we have 2 of these in here. This is, again, just an off-the-shelf part for us. If we had to do it, we could have done it better. So, I mean, these are just the breakers as they correspond to it. If you're wondering why these are odd, these are the bus bar 13579. Another thing that we couldn't get in time, again, I don't know if I mentioned this, these are Amazon Soco connectors. And we couldn't get 19-pin cable, and so Ben made this, which really looks pretty good. But, you know, if we could have done it better, it would have been nicer looking. But, I mean, again, this is something that no one is going to see. We did add a 2U brush panel that we happen to have in stock for the Soco cable to come out of. This is the other side of the bus bar. So we ran out of slots. So this is breaker 2, 4, 6. 2 of these are 4 are 6 and 4 are 8. And we also gave them a shielded LAN cable. This actually attaches to the panel. This is how you connect it to the internet so you can control it. And we did the config for them on this, which was pretty cool. I was not expecting this panel to be as cool as it is. So you can hop on the app and you can see what the amp draw per breaker is. The other thing you can do is you can turn them on and off. So when we first installed the panel, we went to do just a quick test with it, and there wasn't any power that came out, and we're like, what the heck? So we had to get the app and config it, and then we had to physically turn it on, which was a little counterintuitive if you just want to flip a breaker and want to see power, but it's pretty cool. They have this, we figured out that this piece is when you're on battery mode. You lock your main breaker in the off position so that you can't backfeed this, which is, like, for as much technology as in here, you think they'd have like a relay or something in there so that you can't automatically backfeed anything. But long story long, it's pretty cool. The only thing that I think any of the comment section is going to give me a hard time about is the back here. Because we did this out of a 2U panel, I couldn't build a back box because I don't have the metal working for it. It just doesn't exist. And we couldn't get the wiring into it anyway. It would have had to really be a fabbed out thing that we just didn't have the time for. So, we did our best with electrical tape back there, which I can just feel the comment section just really riding us about. But things to keep in mind, this is going into an enclosure. I'm sure that the comment section has already commented or is not really listening to this part of the video, but this is going into an enclosure, so you really won't see it. I mean, again, it's going to lay on its back, so this is technically the top when it's in its show mode, and that's why these rails are like this, so they'll slide in on a track like that, which actually, now just realizing we have plastic pieces that go on here so you won't tear up the wood, which we need to cut and install, so that's next on the list. And it does look nice. So when it's in its mode like this, you have what we call at LM a ramp handle, and then it has its side handle so that if you carry it like a big tray. But all in all, it's pretty cool. It looks. I sent our customer a picture. He goes, "Oh, cool, you painted it." I'm like, "Oh man, not only did we paint it, it took us like 4 hours to paint this thing." So anyway, everything's nice and tight. All the CNC stuff, pardon our shop, we just moved everything to the side to do this ending video. Huh, Ben? It's always clean in here, right?
Oh, it's spotless.
sterile.
Constantly.
It might as well be a clean room, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the project. I hope you guys like it. I figured it was weird enough that the comment section would enjoy it and just light me up. So anyway, catch you guys on the next one. Bye.